Thank you, Sam Cooke, the great Sam Cooke, for kicking us off. A change is going to come. Yes, indeedy. About the only thing that is certain in this life is change. And the Commodores wanted to play for you. We'll do that at the out. Change is about the only certainty guaranteed in life. And as folks like to say, death and taxes. Hey, I get to entertain you talking about both of those subjects this morning. Hello. John Miller, owner, senior attorney at Rock Solid Law and Title, coming to you from Ponte Vedra Beach in our new offices that we're enjoying very, very much. We shift this week back into the realm of estate planning. We've been focusing on real estate in the recent webinars, and I'm really pleased to see how many realtors have joined us this morning. A lot of very interesting participants on there today. Welcome to each of you. Realtors, before I really launch, we finally think it's time to do a fun event, and we are going to be hosting a realtor event toward the end of the month. So you should be on our invitation list already, but shoot me a note at questions@rocksolidlaw.com so we make sure you get your invitation. One of the things I pride Rock Solid on is not only providing very professional services, but having a fun time doing it. So we always like to be together with the people that we do business with. Wow, huh? Big times, big subject, big changes a-coming. COVID has cost a lot of money to a lot of people. You guys know that our federal government was already running at a significant debt level, and that the shutdown, pandemic, COVID, coronavirus, 19, whatever you want to call it, ran the tab up even higher. You know, all that money that went out to folks has to be paid back somehow. And I saw a quote yesterday: the government never pays for anything. We taxpayers do. So as we see debate going on about how there's going to get paid back, how this money is going to be paid back, we all know that the taxpayers are the ones that are going to foot the bill, right? So as I said in the flyer that you will have received to sign up for this, those of us that have worked hard, done the right thing, played by the rules, amassed some wealth, you have a target. Whether you want to think of it on your forehead or your back, doesn't matter. There's a target on you, and that target is to figure out how to further tax the money you earn, save, and put away for retirement, and try to pass on to the people you love most, to take that out of your pocket and put it in the national treasury so that it can be spent the way the folks in Washington want to spend it. Now, you're going to notice in this presentation that there is plenty of fault on every side of the aisle. I am as fiscally conservative as they come. I am equally socially proactive, which means that I find fault with just about everyone ever elected. If I step on your toes, just remember that somebody on the other side of the aisle will have had their toes stepped on as well. There is equal fault to go around for the situation we're in and what's going to happen to try to get out of it. So I've even heard it called a war on wealth. This old peacenik doesn't like to think of war, and war is a very unattractive thing to me. And therefore, this war is odious. And it's really not that high a bar that constitutes wealth in this instance. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. This isn't only the uber rich. A lot of people who have just put away money for later are going to be significantly affected, we believe. Now, the first caveat, it's Washington. There's going to be deals cut, and none of us sitting here today, and for anybody watching this on the replay, I am in the second week of October 2021. The Ways and Means Committee report has come out. We are, of course, all with our ears to the ground to try to figure out what Washington is going to do to us and what, if anything, we can do to plan around that. So the three areas that we need to talk about this morning. One is income tax rates. We expect to see an adjustment there. The second is with respect to retirement accounts. You know, the amount that Americans have put away for retirement at one point in time until the recent climb was about equal to the national deficit. I'm sorry, the national debt. So don't you know that getting hold of some of that is on the politicians' minds? And then finally, the estate tax. That's a tax when an estate passes from one generation to the next. And we expect to see some changes in each of those areas. We don't know exactly what those will be, but we have some pretty deeply held suspicions. And if you'll hang on to the end of this session, I will let you know what you can do to get a copy of that House Ways and Means Committee report in case you'd like to review it for yourself. Happy to share that with you. But listen, I'm sure there's some financial advisors on this call. I always appreciate when they join me. Fellow professionals are very, very welcome. And sometimes I get great comments after it's over. There is a fantastic place for financial advisors on your personal board of directors, along with your CPA, your banker, and your attorney, and perhaps one or two other advisors that you rely on. But I have heard advisors, and I've seen it in flyers coming out right now, advising people, do nothing. We don't know what's going to happen, so do nothing. I'm sorry, but I disagree with that analysis. Am I telling you to move all of your money from here to there, hither to yon, or anything like that right now? No, absolutely not. That would not be my advice ever, right? I'm an attorney, an estate planning, real estate, and business attorney, not a financial advisor. So I will never make that advice, but we can be educated. We want to be educated during this period of time. So when the change does come, perhaps as soon as December 31st, January 1st of this year, I'm talking 2021 turning into 2022 at midnight, we are educated and enlightened on what the best potential scenarios may be. And we've taken whatever action we can to preserve all of the wealth that we're able to for our own families. So just think about it for a second. You're at a fork in the road. You're trying to choose whether to go left or right, this way or that way, high road, low road. Do you want to do that with no information on what's down either pathway? Or do you want to gather together the best information possible to make the best informed decision that you can? I would submit that everybody that's taking their time to be on here this morning thinks the latter. Okay, and that's what we're talking about today. Also, when you take advice about which road to go down, do you want to take advice from the guy that owns the only hotel on one road and therefore is trying to send you down that one so you'll stay at his place? Or do you want to take advice from somebody who has no stake in the outcome of the decision you make? No financial stake in what you choose. What I'm submitting to you is that you should take your information on this subject from people who are there to serve you and not try to sell you on a product. If you're taking information from people who have something to sell, you are very likely receiving information which is geared to funnel you toward closing that sale. All right, so 3 different areas. Again, income tax rates, retirement accounts, and estate tax. You've worked your whole life. You've been successful. You've put away money. You're still in your working career, and you have years to go before you're ready to retire. During that period of time, the amount that the federal government taxes you on your annual income reduces the amount that you will have available to you to spend now, to put away for your retirement, and to take care of those you love most eventually. What we think we are seeing at this point in time is it looks like about a 10% increase at many levels for the income tax, up to just under 40%. The number I'm currently hearing is 39.6. Again, when I graduated from law school and I got my Juris Doctor degree and then I passed the bar exam, I often tell my clients, nobody gave me a magic wand. I can't fix what you just did. Equally, nobody ever gave me a crystal ball. All I can do is read and become educated and informed, and I'm trying to pass on to you what I have learned and hope that you will take the challenge to continue to apply this information to your personal situation or those of your clients for the professionals that are on, and move forward in an informed manner. Now we're guessing that almost 40% is about where the compromise will come down. But any of you that have been paying attention know that certain folks in Congress would like to raise the rate up to 70% on wealthy individuals, 70% income tax. Now, I remember reading years ago that Colonel Parker, who was the manager of Elvis Presley, said that he felt it was his patriotic duty to keep Elvis in the 90% tax rate. He was making so much money, they were happy to give 90% of it to the government. Can't imagine they were really happy about that, but I remember that quote succinctly. In those days, taxes really were that high. So it is not historically impossible that they might go up again. Many of you know that while the Beatles, most of them, stayed in England, eventually leaving as well, the Rolling Stones were tax exiles in France because the tax rates were so high on great wealth in England at the time. Thus, the George Harrison Beatles song "Tax Man," 1 for you, 19 for me. I believe that's a 95% tax rate. We haven't had that here in the States, but there are Congress people looking to take it up to 70%. Candidly, I do not believe that they will succeed. I think that is an over target, hoping to compromise to less. But a 10% increase is still a very large one. I do have an article regarding that 70%, which if you'll hang around to the end, I'll tell you how you can send me a note and have us share that with you as well. So listen, I know members of each party love to lob bombs at the other one. But I was speaking with one of my trusted advisors yesterday, and we were talking about where these taxes come from. Well, the highest income tax rates in my lifetime were when I was a child under John F. Kennedy, who of course was a Democrat and seen as a great president. Then when Richard Nixon, a Republican, was president, he passed the Earned Income Tax Credit, which has also resulted in a big mess to our tax code, arguably increasing taxes. So I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, we've got this side, or oh my gosh, we've got that side. We just got change coming. And both sides are going to have to figure it out because we've got a stalemate in the Senate, right? And there's going to have to be a bill that enough senators can get behind to pass it. So that's why I don't think we're going to 70%. But if you're going up to 40, I think you might want to do some planning about how to best protect that income. Second category, retirement accounts. Whew, this is a big one. Okay, we saw the Secure Act pass in 2019. And it doesn't take a lot of historical perspective to remember that that was immediately prior to the current administration. So the Secure Act meant that if your retirement account is payable to your heirs, rather than spreading that out over their predicted lifetime, they had to empty that account out in 10 years. So if you had the bad luck to die when your heirs were in their greatest earning capacity years, which, let's face it, a lot of people lose their parents in their 40s and 50s when they're earning the greatest amount in their careers, then over the next 10 years, that inheritance is going to be added to their income, kicking them up to higher tax rates. Right. We heard it was even considering 5 years, but the compromise was 10, which is still pretty darn difficult. Now that passed during President Trump's presidency, when a lot of other tax relief was given to the higher income tax brackets. Now listen, there is no magic bullet cure to fixing the problem we see coming with respect to retirement plans, but there are some strategies and devices that we can put into play. Discussing them is beyond the scope of this morning, but discussing them with respect to anyone's personal situation is something we are happy to do. And let me just point out that even for a person who has only put away $100,000 toward retirement, there are decisions which can be made between now and the end of the year, given what we think is going to happen, that could put tens of thousands of dollars back into your pocket for your later years. The third and final area we said we're going to talk about is estate tax. A lot of people, including us at this law firm, spend a lot of time helping people prepare their estates so they take care, they take care of those they love. We call it showing your love to those you treasure, and trying to pass absolutely as much of what you've earned that you don't use during your lifetime to those you care the most about. So most people are predicting that the taxable estate will be approximately half of what it currently is after the passage of the act. We don't know if it will be retroactive to the beginning of 2022, but we know that legally it can be. And therefore, doing estate tax planning within the fourth quarter of 2021 is highly recommended. Even if you do nothing, educating yourself about what options are available is absolutely appropriate. So we predict that estates of approximately $5 million will again become taxable, which is going to mean a whole lot more people have taxable estates than do right now. By way of example only, a lot of the best scholars are looking at some of the strategies that have been used for years, including irrevocable trusts containing ILITs or SLATs, which have been used to reduce estate, may not be available if they are not created and funded by the end of 2021. So there are I just wanted to cite one example of real action which could be taken, which could significantly affect someone's estate. So there is problems time 3. There are going to be higher income tax rates. Retirement accounts are likely going to be taxed at a greater level, and estates are going to be taxed earlier and perhaps at a greater rate. If you want to do something about it, I'm suggesting we get together and look at what strategies best apply to you or to your client. So I promised that I would let you know how you could get a copy of the summary of the House Ways and Means report, which recently came out. We would be happy to share that with you if you will write us an email at questions, questions, at rocksolidlaw.com. Secondly, I hope you trust me, but if you want to see an article about the proposals on the 70% income tax rate, be happy to send you one of those. Write that same email address, questions at rocksolidlaw.com. There's absolutely no commitment for anything by doing that. We just love to educate. And then if you would like to sit down and talk about these scenarios and your situation, I would ask you to write that same email address and ask us to set aside 30 minutes to talk about it. That's questions at Rock Solid Law. I think this is so important that I am waiving the usual fee for that consultation if you will make that appointment this week. Today's Thursday, so by the end of the day tomorrow. You don't have to come in tomorrow, please, but just write the email by then and we'll honor that deal. We will discuss what your options are. And the one promise I will make to you is that you will leave that session better educated, more informed than you started it. And I tell you, for an estate planning lawyer, when the law changes like this, we see very busy times coming because a lot of people are going to need a lot of help. I anticipate the last couple of months of this year being very, very busy. Candidly, once this law passes, I think all those people who failed to pre-plan are going to be in panic mode and trying to do any little thing they can. Way better to do it now than wait till then. So I predict that we're going to be very, very busy in 2022. As a business owner, that's wonderful. As an attorney practicing, looks a bit stressful. So partly, I'm trying to get people to go ahead and get in the process now, get some education. So regardless of which way the wind blows or the tax bill gets passed, regardless, there's going to be a path which is probable for you to take, and that may be to do nothing. And if doing nothing is most beneficial for you, hallelujah, that's great. But I've got 37 years of legal practice that tells me that there are very few scenarios when actually do nothing is the answer, or there's not something we can do to make people in a little better position or a lot better position than they were before. Sometimes it's remarkable the amount of money that we get to save people. And those of you that know me know that I consider estate planning law the true family law because we keep families together. We provide for generations. We take arguments away by proper planning in the future. And obviously, the more money we can keep in the family tree, the better off that family's going to be and the more resources they will have to make the lives of their heirs and their grandchildren's grandchildren better. So that's the little mark I want to leave in this world. And if that resonates with you, I'd invite you to come see us. There are so many of you on here today, and I've gone on longer than usual, that I'm going to ask that if you do have questions, that you post those in an email to me. Same email address, questions at rocksolidlaw.com. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who participated this morning. We've had a large group. I'm glad to see there's such interest. I thought this would be an important subject, and we will continue providing education in this area throughout this year and next year too, because I think there's going to be a lot that needs to be disseminated. We're now on a 2-week cadence on our webinars. We found that post shutdown, people are not wanting to do them quite as often, which is great for me. And so in 2 weeks, we will teach another one. You will, of course, get an email on it. I want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you participating today. I am John Miller, founding attorney, Rock Solid Law and Title.